Panther Nation, Pantherologist, what's going on? Rockstar Gang, everybody's in here. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button on the way in. Something's got to give, though, guys. Something has to give. Something has to give. So, oh, really? Apparently, there are video backgrounds now to support the channel. I wonder if I can get this background as my thing then. I did not know that. Oh, man. We might have to do something here, folks. Let me see if I can find it. I wonder if I can find it. Oh, that would be sick if I could find it. It would be kind of dope, right? If I could find that. Guys, make sure you pound that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Get in the chat. Love to hear y'all's thoughts. Hold on one second here. I just want to see if I can find this download of a background, like a virtual background, because it's saying we can do that. Oh no, we ain't doing that. Nah, we'll do it another day. I'll edit one out. Now we can do a virtual background. Joe Nuska says, "What up, G? What's up, man? Appreciate you joining, Joe." Jen, hello. I kept missing the lives. Happy to catch this one. Well, join the Discord or click that post notifications bell, and you'll never miss a live, Jen. Or at least you shouldn't. I know most of the time YouTube can be funky. YouTube can be a little funky sometimes. So again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, make sure you pound the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, so let's move on. Let's get right into it. Some news and some updates. Hayden Hurst is frustrated. He's not the only one, though, obviously. You can visibly tell he's frustrated, though, from his recent interview with the media after the game. You know, he comes from a team that was winning, right? A team that has been in and has history of contention, right? He comes from the Cincinnati Bengals, comes over here. He's just disheartened by the lack of effort displayed by some players. His candid remarks about the team's shortcomings reflect the collective disappointment felt within this Panthers locker room. So, you know, now he's getting verbal, you know, and he's calling dudes out in the locker room, it sounds like. And he's saying that it's just not some of these guys that are here aren't putting in the effort in. And, you know, whether that's because, you know, right, whether that's because we're losing right now, or whether that's just because they don't get, like, I mean, they're just like, well, we're here and we're losing, so why should I give a fuck, right? I don't know. I mean, there could be multiple things here, right? There could be multiple factors, but it's good to see someone trying to be a leader in the locker room and step up and say, hey, like, we still got a job to do at the end of the day, right? So, you know, interesting enough, Terrace Marshall's limited role, who I thought week 4 did pretty well against Minnesota. I thought he kind of actually stepped up in the Minnesota game. And then, surprisingly enough, during the whole Lions game, he was nowhere to be found. So Frank Wright says it was a mistake on him, that Marshall should have been utilized more in this game. So it definitely raises some concerns about Wright's decision-making abilities, and it's leaving us questions. You know, he has come out and said lack of communication, right? He's continued his excuses. I got to get better communicating. I've got to get better communicating. You know, and you know, it's same thing and same excuse week in and week out, Frank. Like, I mean, dude, you literally have said communication multiple times, saying that's an issue. This team doesn't even look like it wants to play for you. So there's discipline issues there too. Then you're calling plays for certain players that aren't even in the game. Then you're calling, and then you're not utilizing certain players the way that you said you should be and didn't realize that he wasn't even in the game. So are you watching the game, or are you too focused on the play calling and not focused enough on who's in the game, managing the game, your players, all of that? That's why this whole thing is about something's got to give, and you have to give up something, Frank, because you're the one who is literally killing this team. Now, I get it. The offseason moves, the talent, the depth, all of that's an issue for sure. Injuries, for sure. Not signing Brian Birds or not trading Brian Birds, issue. Not getting the right talent and depth, issue. Injuries, issue, right? But something's got to give. And Frank Wright, it's time. I'm going to continue to say it until he does it, guys. I'm going to sound like a broken record player on here, but he has to give up the play calling. And he has got to be a game-managing head coach, because players are not getting utilized now. Communication issue between your quarterback and yourself, and then mismanaging clock management, not knowing what players are in and out of the game. That is just poor execution and poor management on Frank Wright. And that's going to get you fired, Frank. That's why we're 0-5, Frank. You keep doing the same thing over and over again when it comes to play calling anyways. You have no creativeness. And then when we finally, this last game, we actually saw some creativeness, but I think it's because of Thomas Brown, not because of you. But it's the same excuse over and over again, Frank. It's the same excuse over and over, Frank. So then you got these preparation challenges now, right? 5 consecutive losses. Now the pressure's on you, Frank, because here's the thing. You wouldn't have so much pressure on you if you were 2-4, 3-3, right? I would say if you're 2-4 right now, if you were 2-4 in the bye week, I wouldn't be, oh, well, shit hit the fan. But shit has hit the fan because of your lack of communication skills, because of your lack of disciplinary, because of your poor clock management, because of your poor play calling, because of your poor player utilization. You've literally have got your head so far up your own playbook's ass because you're choosing to worry about the play calling instead of worrying about your franchise quarterback and developing him, worrying about what players to utilize on the field, what players are in and out of the game, the clock. And then all these penalties after penalties. It's a lack of discipline. It's a lack of management on your part. So now you have preparation challenges because you lack the preparation. You lack the commitment and attention to detail that have been glaring issues because you want to be such this quarterback guru, but you also want to be this play calling head coach, and you're not that. You need to emphasize discipline, communication, and utilization. And organization, because obviously you're not organized. So you've got 4 of the biggest things out of a head coach that you need that you're not doing. And then it's the same excuse 5 weeks in a row. Same excuse 5 weeks in a fucking row. Sorry, I'm just, something's got to give, Frank. It's time for you to give up your play calling and focus on the game itself and not the plays. Focus on utilizing the players. Focus on the clock management. Focus on working with your quarterback and your communication. Working on disciplining your offensive line and your defensive line. That's what a head coach does. Head coaches don't sit there and call plays throughout the whole game. Bill Belichick ain't calling plays throughout the whole game. Kyle Shanahan's probably not calling all the plays because Kyle Shanahan's got a guy who's already basically calling the plays for Kyle because Kyle's trained him that way. That's what makes him such a guru. Actually, Kyle Shanahan might be calling plays, but still. Up there in Buffalo, Ken Dorsey's calling plays, not Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott's calling the defensive plays, from my understanding, but he isn't calling the offensive plays. So, it comes down to you being an organized head coach and you utilizing the players that you have and you giving your play calling up. That's what preparation needs to. So you got to give up something, Frank, because you're absolutely atrocious as a head coach right now. And you look stupid. And it's the same excuse over and over again. I'm working on merch right now, folks, and I'm about to make a merch with this guy's face on it like that. And I'm going to put it on a t-shirt that says Fire Frank Wright. And I'm going to sell it. Because, people are like commenting on Twitter. People are commenting on this. I've even seen people comment in the chat saying, why are we rebuilding? We don't need to do a rebuild. Yeah, we do. It's time for a rebuild. Whether you like it or not, it's time to fire sale. It's time to get rid of players. It's time to actually rebuild and not retool, because that's what we've been doing. We've been retooling, not rebuilding. And people go, well, we've been rebuilding for the past 6 years. And look, yeah, and it's not a rebuild. It's been retooling for the past 5-6 years. The Texans did a full rebuild. They literally were the shit after Deshaun Watson left. They were shit for how many years, right? After Deshaun Watson left last year. And this was before, and this was during the time Deshaun Watson was out too, obviously with the suspension. But they actually did a full rebuild. They did it the right way. So we need to do the same. It's time. It's getting to that point, and Frank Wright's going to have to go because he obviously doesn't know. He obviously doesn't know what he's doing. Jay Issue in the house. Jay Issue is in the house. Black Mama, don't forget calling timeouts in the Viking game. That I already said it. Clock management. Clock management. I mean, that's another one. The list goes on with Frank Wright. It comes down to releasing the play calling. Okay, this is what you need to do, Frank. Okay, because I'm tired of hearing your excuses. Oh, I got to go look back at the tape. Oh, I messed up. Right, I messed up for not utilizing Terrace Marshall Jr. Oh, I messed up calling a play when a guy wasn't even in the game at the moment. Oh, I messed up because I didn't call a timeout. Oh, I messed up. The excuse after excuse after excuse. Oh, I'm a communication issues with my quarterback. No discipline in the trenches between my defensive line and offensive line, because my offensive line can't create run lanes and my offensive line can't protect my rookie quarterback that we drafted and traded all these picks away for, and our number one wide receiver. But my defensive line can't stop the run. Dude, I mean, it's like our defensive line's getting ran through like that girl from your high school that everybody slept with. It's about the same thing. But no, it comes down to this, Frank. It's time for you to release the play calling over to Thomas Brown. It's time to hand it over to him. It's time for you to be a game managing head coach, which means you're going to be better at communicating with your quarterback. You're going to be better at clock managing, and you're going to be better at utilizing your players in the game because you'll know what's going on. That's what your preparation should be. Not talking about, well, I got to go back and look at the film and then continuing after excuse saying, oh, yeah, that was on me for not utilizing Terrace Marshall, which we're going to dive more into that because that's a bunch of bullshit because Terrace Marshall actually looked pretty good against the Vikings and you didn't utilize him this week at all. Yeah, the locker room isn't behind you, Frank, because you show no emotion, number one, right? You show no emotion at all, especially when someone makes a bad play, or if the ref makes a bad call, or if if someone's not blocking, someone's not doing something right. If someone's not doing something right, you need to be getting in these players' face and say, hey, blah 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 blah. You need to blah 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 blah. Like, show some emotion. I don't see it. You might be as bad as Todd Bowles. At least throwing emotion wise. Yeah, I mean, Frank's got to let go of that, though, Jen. Frank's got to let go of that. Frustrated as hell, but keep pounding anyways. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. What's up, Q? Sup, Doc? What's up, Doc? All right. And last but not least for the news and updates, David Tepper's meddling. The persistent involvement in football operations has become a contentious issue, right? Despite the initial optimism about his approach, Tepper's interference in coaching decisions has raised concerns to me. And the determination to bring a winning team to Carolina is commendable, right? He said, well, I'm not going to accept mediocrity or whatever he said. But yet you have. But it's also that his impatience, constant meddling have led to lack of stability within the organization. So some argue that Tepper should focus more on the business aspects of the team and allowing the football experts to make crucial decisions. And if that's the case, and that is what's going on, then yes. But we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. These are just rumors. These are just news and updates. But if that's what's going on and Tepper is getting involved in the, you know, getting more involved in the coaching aspect of things and other things like that. Now, you're a businessman at the end of the day, David Tepper. You've never been a GM. You've never been an NFL scout. You've never coached football. You've never done the X's and O's. If you don't know any of that, shut the fuck up and just worry about the business side, because the last time I checked, that's where you came from, the business. You're a businessman. You're an entrepreneur. You work with the market. Okay. So work on that side of things, but keep your head out of the coaching room, the player, talking about the players or anything like that. Like, just worry about the business side of things. Okay. Worry about selling more jerseys, hot dogs, t-shirts, tickets, that kind of stuff. Worry about the caps, and then if you want to worry about the cap space, because that is also business side of things, sure. But other than that, you shouldn't be telling our GM who to pick and who to bring in and free agents to bring in. You shouldn't be telling Frank Reich how to coach. Shouldn't be doing any of that. So stay out of it. Just stay on the business side of things and shut up. Because it sounds like you're too much in the coaching staff's ear and the GM's ear. And I think that could be part of the issue that we're seeing with the GM. We're coming after, Scott Fitterer a little bit, but Scott Fitterer also has to, has to be put on, the hot seat as well. I mean, so does Frank. So winners and losers. All right, I got some winners and losers of this past week's game. Jeremy Chin, he's a loser. Let's just be honest. Jeremy Chin's limited involvement is a cause of concern for me. He's a versatile player. He only spent 30% of the on the field in this game, primarily as a special teamer at 41%. The lack of playing time to me may indicate that the coaching staff is diminishing his confidence and his abilities. Okay. I think that with Chin in a contract year, his prospects of securing a long-term deal, obviously here is dwindling week by week. So trading him once an unthinkable idea now to me seems like a great idea because it appears to be a misfit in the current defensive system. So sorry. I mean, I hate to be Chin's one of my favorite players, but it is what it is. Eagles want Chin bad. Well, they better give. I would love to see what they can give up for him. Miles Sanders, big fat L. You should have a freaking Superman. I should have put a big Superman costume on him in Photoshop, and I should have changed the S to an L because that's about as bad as you've been. Because I thought you being a notable free agent signing, you have underachieved by far out of anybody because you have a Pro Bowl history, but you have struggled to appear to have any confidence on the field. You have had costly fumble after costly fumble, right? You've missed holes. Now I get it. The one play that you saw, right? He was going off to the right-hand side and he was following his blockers. And everybody says that that's the correct way to go because you want to follow your blockers. But when you got a massive hole like that, you can't tell me it doesn't make sense to cut over and go that way. Well, he was running with his blockers. I don't give a rat's ass what he was doing. Even if that's the right thing to do, or if that's the way the play's supposed to go, there's a hole wide ass open you could have ran a Mack truck through. And he chose to continue going that way. And he got 1 yard. When he could have gone that way and at least got 4 or 5 yards if he would have just cut back in. And y'all know which play I'm talking about because I'm sure y'all have seen it about 100 times on Twitter. Oh, Jay Issue, we've been bamboozled. We've got that snake car salesman. We caught the snake car salesman bad. I'm talking about this car salesman that's going to make sure your credit score goes down by like 100 points. Bad. But the thing is, with back to Sanders, is that as a result, at the end of the day, Sanders spent more time on the bench, which gave Chuba Hubbard opportunity, which he continues to outplay him, and so did Laviska Shenault. So Laviska Shenault actually outplayed him, and he's a wide receiver. But then we used him as I know there's been talks that we were going to use a Debo style of him, but now at this point, I'd say you bench Miles Sanders, you try to find someone that wants him, you trade him. I don't care what you get for him at this point. I don't really care. And you use Laviska Shenault and Chuba Hubbard in the backfield. Call it a day. All right? Because it is a tough decision at the end of the day with Sanders, but at the same time, what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? So, is there some news that I need to know about? Hold on. There's like a bunch of... Rams are shopping Van Jefferson. And let's see what else. There was somebody else that was getting shopped today as well. Like some guys that I thought maybe be intriguing. Somebody else. Oh, McCole Hardman too. Van Jefferson and McCole Hardman are getting shopped. Jets are trying to shop McCole Hardman, and the Rams are trying to shop Van Jefferson. What up, Marcos Cash? They come to Carolina for vacation and free money. Yeah, basically. Basically, man. I mean, they just try to get into the warm weather. Bills got Josh Norman. I know, CCU alumni, baby. Uh, that old slow receiver, McCole Hardman's not old. He's only like 24, and he's fast. McCole Hardman's not old. He's 25. And then Van Jefferson. I don't know how old Van Jefferson is. Van Jefferson's 27. So I mean, both of them aren't that old. But it piques my interest, but it's not like I'm fully about it. But McCole Hardman and Van Jefferson also, you wouldn't have to pay a lot of money. I think McCole Hardman's only getting paid like $1.6 million by the Jets right now. And I think Van Jefferson's maybe a little bit more, but not by much. All right, my winners. Adam Thielen. We know why. Panthers are going out. That's true, Black Mamba. That's true. That is true. I didn't even think about that. But I hope that's not true. But I hope that's not true. Yeah, I don't think he's a game changer either, Jay Issue, but he could be better than what we got. I mean, at this point, we're based. I mean, Jay, we're throwing shit at the wall at this point and seeing if it sticks. So you might as well just continue doing that until next season. Don't buy tires with no tread. Exactly. Unless you got a blown ass tire that you really just need to get a quick one on, right? All right, Thielen continues to be that bright spot in the offense, man. His experience, his route running, reliability is really the only positive note that in this wide receiver room and in this offense. He might not have the most he might not be the fastest guy, but he's the most consistent. And at the end of the day, that's what we need. We need consistency, right? Even in the face of adversity, he still continues to get open, get the ball in his hands, and he makes him a productive pass catcher at the end of the day for us. And then another winner, I gotta give a shout out to Laviska, man. He showcased his potential and with the limited opportunities he had. He displayed determination, creativity when given the touches out of the backfield. He added a unique dimension to the offense. And then, obviously with Miles struggling, the coaching staff should explore ways to get Shenault more involved, utilizing his size and physicality to their advantage, like a Deebo Samuel. That is what he's there for. I do like Laviska a lot. It's just that we need a guy that can create separation. You still utilize him, right? Even if we got a true number one guy, you could still utilize Shenault in that way. But that's why I do like the Shenault. Jay Issue, I know at this point it's just like, what, I mean, honestly, at this point, man, we just fire sale and bring in cheap ass dudes. That's what I would do. I would literally just fire sale, grab as much draft capital as I can out of Dante Jackson, Jeremy Chin, Frankie Luvu, Brian Burns, Andy Dalton, Terrace Marshall, those guys. Like, out of all those guys, those are the guys I'm looking at to market and trade. And trade all of them and get as much capital as you can get. That's what I'm saying. Marcos Cash shipping players out of here. That's not going to do us any good. We get no value. We get nothing. It's shipping guys out. We get no trade capital. We don't get no draft capital. We need draft capital. That's why the Texans are that's why the Texans are where they're at right now. Not just because of CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans. It's because they did it the right way. They did the rebuild the right way. And we have just done retooling. We've never done an actually full rebuild. You trade these guys that have value and trade them for draft capital. Shipping them does us no good, and it does us no good in the cap room. That's just wasting money if you just release guys. And then a question mark for Terrace Marshall. I didn't know to put him in a winner or losers. Oh, okay. Mark, when you say ship him out, it makes me wonder what you were saying there. See, when someone says ship him out, I automatically jump ship to thinking of you're trying to release these guys, right? That's what I think. But Terrace Marshall, all right. He obviously, I put a question mark there because he wasn't utilized. After a decent performance in week 4, we saw some progression from him in week 4 against the Vikings, and then did not receive a single offensive snap from our team, which raises some concern to me because Frank Reich comes out in press conference and goes, yeah, that's my fault for not utilizing him and not giving him involvement. But it also prompts questions about the decision of drafting him and puts the general manager, Scott Fitterer, under scrutiny for him to be the one that chose to go after him. Yeah, that's not how it works. That's why David Tepper needs to worry about the business side of things. I said that earlier. That our owner, I get that he wants results now, but he needs to get out of our GM's ear and he needs to get out of our coach's ear, and he needs to worry about selling hot dogs, tickets, jerseys, the business side of things. That's what he needs to worry about. Doesn't need to be worrying about coaching and what players to use and what coaching style they should be doing because he has no idea what he's talking about. Him and his wife need to just worry about the business side of things and stay out of the GM and coaching room. That's what because that's what I'm hearing now. That David Tepper is involved and he wants to win now, but yet he's up our guys' asses. But we continue to retool. That's not how it works. In the NFL, teams have to start from scratch. And that's what the Cardinals are going to be doing. They're going to start from scratch. They're going to get rid of Kyler Murray. They're going to get rid of players that have trade value. And they're going to end up drafting like Caleb Williams or Drake May. Right? That's what they're going to go after. And then they're going to do an actual rebuild. Yeah, it's just not. It's not how it works, Matt Chatter. Exactly. All right, immediate benchings required. Okay? This is why this is called something's got to give. Changes have to be made, man. This is why I named it the Carolina Panthers, something has to give. Ian Thomas has had his chances, and it's become evident that he does not meet the necessary standards by any means for this team. Yes, is he good at blocking? Sure, that's great. But a role that the coaching staff has tried to develop into, he continues to fall short after short after short. He continues to trip on his own shoelaces. And it's time to provide opportunities to younger talents with greater potential, in my opinion. I think elevating Tommy Tremble to the legitimate number 2 tight end, giving Giovanni Ricci or Steven Sullivan a chance to prove themselves as well should be considered. With Thomas showing he cannot be relied upon again and again, it's time to change and inject some fresh energy to this position. Number 2, Deshaun Williams, sayonara. Obviously, you are not worth the signing in free agency. Now, I get it. He had prior success under Evero's defense when he was with the Denver Broncos, which raised some expectations, but his performance has not matched anything that I anticipated. All right. Williams, you have struggled to generate pressure off the line of scrimmage, and often appears like you're overwhelmed. So, and our defensive line lacks depth, man. I mean, it is silly. It is silly. Exploring options like Nick Thurman or LeBron Ray to boost this line's urgency. I mean, maybe worthwhile, but they ain't going to do shit either because they ain't worth a damn either. We've got so many scrubs and bums on this team, so much inexperienced players, so much veterans that aren't very good. We need to be looking we need to be looking. I get it. We want to look at wide receivers, right? We want to be looking at wide receivers. We want to be looking at build around Bryce Young. I get that. But the way you win in the NFL, yes, this is not a defensive league anymore. Defense does not win championships in the NFL anymore. It just doesn't. Offense, scoring points, that's how you win in the NFL. That's how it's done. But you also win in the trenches. Your front lines win you football games. So if I'm doing anything this offseason too, I'm looking at building that offensive line and defensive line up. I mean, stacking it with talent and depth. Next, Sanders. You have failed to meet expectations, like I said before. And you are the most frustrating player I'm frustrated with out of anybody because we invested in you because we were expecting to have higher production out of you, but I should have never put that on you, obviously, knowing that you came from one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And that's how you did that's how you were so productive because of that. You have fallen short through 5 games. You have had no impact, and you've actually hurt us more than you've helped us. After the 2 fumbles you've had have happened at the worst time in the game, both times. Especially when we were having momentum, and you're the one who has destroyed it both times. You need to be benched. You need to be traded away. We will continue to just rely on Chuba and Laviska Shenault, who have had way more success than you. I got Ian on there. These are the 3 players I think immediately need to be benched. So these were the issues, though, from that game. These are my key takeaways from this game. Number 1. Oh, hold on. No, these are not my key takeaways. These are my struggles. Sorry. These are the issues that we had in this game against the Lions. Number 1, the first half, ignorance is what it was mirrored by offensive turnovers and a defense that allowed 4 touchdowns on 5 Lions offensive drives. We just appeared dysfunctional, no identity, uncoordinated, lack of discipline, not organized, and going into halftime trailing 28-10. Obviously, it was over after that. I mean, the team just left the field absolutely demoralized. I wish I could have been in that locker room because I would have liked to know what Frank Wright or did anybody get vocal? Did anybody try to build this team back up? Did anybody try to turn the mindset around at least a little bit? But turnovers after turnovers, including 2 interceptions by Bryce, the Miles Sanders fumble, led to 21 of the 28 points in the first half. But 3 turnovers, again, same thing that happened in Atlanta. 3 turnovers turned into points. The overpowered defense. Evero, this Panthers defense, led by our DC Evero, struggled to get constant pressure. The team's offensive mistakes throughout the season, right? It's been a constant burden, struggling, right? I mean, facing Detroit Lions, their high octane offense. I know it was a daunting task, right? Ben Johnson devised a brilliant game plan. Got to give them credit where it's due. They exploited our weaknesses, and particularly to misdirection and play action passes, injuries to key starters, and then alongside the fact that we underutilized players like Jeremy Chin, which makes me think that with these underutilization of certain players like Chin and TMJ, is our front office thinking about trading these guys before the trade deadline? Like if you're going to underutilize them and you're saving them, right? Are you saving them to trade them? You know what I mean? It also makes me think that if you're going to underutilize Chen and you're underutilizing Terrace Marshall, are you trying to trade them? Are you marketing them on the trade block, right? If you're underutilizing these guys. Of course, again, lack of dependable rushing attack. All right. The Panthers running backs have struggled to provide constant, productive run game. Chuba Hubbard has the only one that has shown promise to me. But I think he lacks the consistency, though, to be a lead rushing attack at RB1. But Miles Sanders has just been so disappointing. I'd rather lean on Chuba, who's actually outperformed him. I just feel that Sanders needs to protect the ball better, obviously, but I feel like he hasn't adapted to this offensive system. And the only way for him to save himself is to do so. But I don't see that happening. Bryce Young's interceptions. Of course, he struggled with some interceptions. That obviously hammered our team's chances of winning. His decision-making, execution were questionable on multiple occasions. Now, granted, with his rookie status, the offensive system, obviously he needs to improve, right? There was some improvement from him in this game. I'm not going to bash him too hard because he doesn't deserve it. The person that deserves it is the people that in the front office and our owner not doing anything to actually successfully put a team around him that could win right now. With the lack of depth and a lack of play calling, lack of talent, injury issues, multiple issues, right? So, I'm not going to be too hard on him. Guys, make sure you pound that like button. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I think I forgot a PowerPoint that I meant to add in here, actually. And it's all good, but we'll dive right into it anyways. So, I forgot a PowerPoint presentation added into this, but my takeaways, though, from this, my takeaways from everything, though, is that we're on the verge of a fire sale. Because for the second consecutive year, we continue to appear teetering on the edge of a fire sale. Again, second year in a row. With an almost inevitable 0-6 record looming over our heads, right? At this, it's time to honestly, guys. It's time to, like I said, it's time to consider recouping valuable draft assets because the suggestion is to put everyone except Bryce Young on the trade block, and this move would enable the Panthers to build a stronger offensive arsenal around the young quarterback. While fans may have other ideas, right, or don't like that idea, but the team's inconsistency in either committing to a full rebuild or go all in has left them in this current predicament. Because it's essential to recoup a 2024 first round pick, even if it means trading valuable assets like Brian Burns. That's the issue. Another thing, Frank Wright, your leadership needs to be better. Your play calling needs to be hand over. Your communication needs to be better. Your discipline needs to be better. Your game management needs to be better. Your emotions need to be shown. Because comparisons between the Panthers and the Detroit Lions, led by Dan Campbell, it highlighted the need for inspirational leadership, and we don't have that. Campbell has revitalized the Lions, taking them from a 1-6 record last season to a 10-3 record and a strong position in the NFC North. He's been 10-3 since last season. Starting 1-6, he's been 10-3 ever since. Because his motivational skills are evident in the post-game speeches, driving his players to excel. And Frank Wright's style appears to be less motivating. And it makes me not respect Frank Wright because it makes me feel like he does not give a shit. It seems like, or if that's just the way Frank Wright is and he doesn't feel like being like that, fine. But then you shouldn't be a head coach. Maybe you're better off as just an offensive coordinator or a QB coach. Probably not an offensive coordinator because your play calling is absolutely shit. So you're probably better off just being a quarterback coach because that's what you were known for. The last time I checked that this team looked like it was motivated to play was when we should have hired the interim head coach of last year, Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks was the right hire. I wanted Steve Wilks. I didn't want Frank Wright. Now, there was other guys on my list of coaching that I wanted to. Ben Johnson was one of them. But I knew the Lions weren't going to give him up. We need some charismatic figure, somebody. I don't care if it's not Frank. If it's got to be Thomas Brown, or if it's got to be James Campen, if it's got to be Deuce Staley, if it's got to be, I thought it would be Deuce because of how he is and how we saw him this offseason. But I have not seen him get in these guys' faces as an assistant head coach. Why aren't you at least being the one to motivate these guys? Why aren't you being that charismatic figure that I saw this offseason to ignite this team's spirit? But if I'm David Tepper and I'm 0-6 with Frank Wright, it's time for to completely cut ties and move and start making trade acquisitions for these valuable players that we do have to get the draft capital that we need. Sorry, that's just how it is. Anthony Davis, I mean, I get it. The problem is, we just don't have we don't have a coaching staff We don't have a coaching staff though. Like, I mean, that might be right, right? I mean, you might be right. That could possibly happen. You know, if we trade him and he goes somewhere else and balls out, good for him. That means he deserves better. That means we didn't deserve him. Shane, he played in the SEC, so he probably went up some decent guys. If we go back and look at that draft class, you could probably look up some corners that played in the SEC, and those are guys who he went up against. So he probably played some NFL caliber defenders. Another thing, guys, you also got to expect the unexpected from David Tepper, because throughout his ownership, he has demonstrated a penchant for surprising decisions, unfortunately, which has put us in some bad has put us part in this decision. I feel like, but Tapper's willingness to make unconventional moves could come into play here soon. Position coaches like James Campen, Todd Wash might be potential scapegoats. Tepper could consider parting ways with general manager Scott Fitterer. Tapper's willingness to shake things up suggests the fans should embrace themselves for an unexpected as the season unfolds, which means fire sale. I'm telling you. I am telling you right now, do not be surprised if guys get traded, coaches get fired, coaches get released. Just don't be surprised. Scott Fitterer gets fired. Frank Reich gets fired. Don't be surprised, guys, at all. Do not be surprised. So, but something's got to give, right? Like, changes got to be made. I'm not saying it's going to happen right now, but it should happen either by the by I could see something happening by the bye week, or I could see some, and obviously before the trade deadline. And I think the NFL trade deadline is, shoot, I know it's in October if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's on Halloween. The last day of the trade deadline is Halloween. So, I mean, let's see. I wonder if I can find some. I bet you there's some scenarios already out there. I guarantee you. There's probably some trade scenarios out there somewhere. Ernest, absolutely. It's time to fire him. Yeah, something like that, Shane's freaking ridiculous. The Dolphins are going to have a field day with us. They're going to be so happy. Rashad Penny, I don't want him. Isaiah Spiller, maybe. I'd rather have Deontay Foreman back right now. Michael Carter, I wouldn't be mad about either. I wouldn't be mad about Michael Carter. Honestly, I'd trade Miles Sanders for Michael Carter. I ain't gonna lie to you. He has to be better than what we're getting out of Sanders. Michael Carter's actually, before Breece Hall got there, actually had a decent year. TMJ is listed as a wide receiver on the move. So I mean, shit. Let's trade. Let's make a trade with New York. We'll send TMJ for McCold Hardman and Sanders for Michael Carter, and then they can give us a 5th-round pick. Chicago wouldn't give us back Foreman. I don't see that happening. I really don't. It would look bad on our part anyway. So I don't know. I'm trying to find some NFL. I'm trying to see if I can find any scenarios that are out there right now. Doesn't look like. I'm just trying to see if there's any news out there. Yeah, I don't see anything. Let me see if I can see if there's anything else. See trade rumors. Because I'm wondering if there's what trade rumors are going on. Who are we shopping? And like, I want to see. I mean, I know that there's like shit out here, but I don't know. I just don't think though. Where do you see that listed, Match Hatter? Like, if you got these, you can vouch. How can you vouch? Anthony Davis, they wouldn't get that. Wouldn't happen. So don't worry about that. Yeah, they're not helping us out. They're not going to give us that 2024 first-round pick back. Yeah, that's what I want to know, Match Hatter. Where are you reading this? Send me the link. I need to know. Yeah, if Tepper fires, yeah, I mean, I know. That's the issue too. That will be the issue. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Like, Dante Jackson's getting paid $15 million next season. So if you even tried to pay him or trade him, I doubt it happens. Ernest, there ain't no way we're beating Miami. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. I mean, I read it too every day, but I haven't seen anything where it says that these guys are listed on the trade block. That Tommy Trimble, TMJ, you know, I don't see that anywhere. So, Matt Chatter, I want to know where you're getting this vouch from, because I read articles every day. I read Twitter every day. Where are you getting this information that says that these guys are listed on the trade block? Because just their opinions. Whose opinion? Whose opinion? I just want to know. I mean, if you got the sources, okay, well, send me the article because I want to see where you're reading this. All I'm asking is for you to send me the article. So if you're reading it, send it to me. Anthony, I'm starting to think that too. Matt Chatter, I think you're capping, bruh. I want to see these articles that says that. Think you're capping, bruh. I've seen more reports about guys like Andy Dalton, Dante Jackson, Frankie Louvu, Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, Terrace Marshall. I've seen those names been thrown around in the trade market and trade block, but I haven't heard about Tommy Tremble. You know what I mean? I've seen that, but I haven't seen anything about Terry Trimble. I mean, that's fine if they want to trade him, but I don't with the what has he done though? That's the thing. Like I don't even know. You'll probably get a 7th-round pick out of him. What's the point of trading him? You have better upside. He has a better upside of keeping him. No, I don't have a setting that shouldn't bland or let me see. No, I don't have it set where you can't ban links. I just want to see the article. That's all. All right, Anthony, that's enough. He's not the madcapper. I believe him, but I just wanted to see where they were talking about Tommy Tremble because I've seen TMJ's name being thrown around about marketing him, but just not Tommy Tremble. Like I said, the guys that I've seen in the market value, like the ones that we would be looking to trade, which they make the most sense, right? Is Andy Dalton, right? Because maybe somebody could use use him for, a 1-year kind of ordeal, kind of like the Jets could probably use him right now. Don't be surprised if Kirk Cousins gets traded. NFLTradeRumors.com. Okay. I'll go look at it. That's no big deal. I know who they are. .co. Yeah, there they are. I've heard these guys. Yeah, there's Terrace Marshall. All right. He's not capping, boys. He's not capping. I just wish but at the end of the day though, guys, like I said, so if we're gonna look to trade guys, these are the names I'm throwing out there. You need to throw Andy Dalton because I think the Jets or somebody like even maybe the Cardinals, I mean, I guess they like Dobbs. I mean, Dobbs is okay over there. But like somebody, I don't know, more like the Jets that are going through with an injury quarterback, right, who's out for the season, could use him right now, could utilize his experience and his value, which you could probably get some draft capital from them for him. And even if it's 1 or 2 picks, if that, right? But then you got to think about guys like Chen, who has value. Terrace Marshall has high upside, right? He could be good somewhere else, right? He just might not be. We might have just not used him correctly here, or he could just turn out that he's just not that good, right? I know that YGM's been very good, but I've also thought about trading him. He is shine, but he looks good back there right now. But if you're looking at trading Brian Burns, it might not be smart to trade him away, right? But he could be a guy to look to trade out. Burns is obviously name's already been thrown out there. I think Frankie Louvu, with him looking for a contract extension and being his contract year, he could be looking at he could be a guy to be traded away. Dante Jackson, I think for the right price, I would trade Dante Jackson, but you might be better off just taking the $15 million hit next year out of his contract, right? But those are the guys that I would look to trade. I think Sanders is also a guy you need to look to trade now after, a disappointing performance he's proven in the first 5 games of the season. So I would look at trading those guys. I think that you could get a lot of draft capital out of each and every one of those guys. I think if we truly traded each and every one of those guys and just brought in some cheap free agents instead, I know we would lose a lot of games. I get that. But at the same time, then you rebuild that whole draft capital up and you rebuild the team around all that draft capital you got. The question comes, will David Tepper stay out of the football room and just stay in the business room? Because that's what it sounds like. There's an issue with that too. So now we've got multiple issues between it, because then it makes me question, is it really Scott Fitterer, the one who's making the decisions here? Or is it David Tepper in his ear saying, hey, go get that guy. I like what I saw from him, but that guy couldn't see talent if it was in front of him. Right? You see what I'm saying? The only players with true value. Yeah, I know. I know that they are the only ones that with true value. I wouldn't be surprised too at this point, Jadarius, because I guarantee you we'll only win 3 games at the end of the season. I predict that, if I went back through the schedule, the only teams that I see us winning and beating is I see us beating the Colts. I could see us beating the Texans, even though they're playing well. I can see possibly beating the Bears and then maybe beating the Falcons. And then that's and out of those 4 games, you get maybe 3. I would say 3 games you win this year. Somebody said we're going to be the San Diego Panthers. Oh, God. I hope not, man. I hope not. If so, I'm going to. So, hey, guys. So, I want to get some merch put together. And I think it would be great this season to go ahead and get that started. So, I want to get some merch put together. If you join the Discord, I would appreciate it if you can say it in here, who you recommend maybe going through for merch. I've heard Shopify. I've heard like T-Lance or Freelance Tees or something like that. Spring Tees or something like that. So, if anybody can help me out with the merch thing, love to get some merch put together for some. I would get some Ropp Star Report shirts made. And some hoodies and long sleeve shirts, stuff like that. I was thinking about making, I was going to get a Run the Damn Ball. Well, I think Run the Damn Ball is already made by somebody, but I kind of wanted to get some streetwear merch made for the show. We ain't winning anything. We are rebuilding or trying to win. All I'm trying to do is understand. Exactly. I mean, I'm trying to understand as well. No way we get 3. Somebody, oh God, I hope not. I hope not. I like Louisville too, but at the same time, Matt Chatter, we got to think about our future. Colts are 3-2. How do you think we win that? I mean, Anthony Richardson's out. I would say I'm starting to think though, guys, that Bryce was a better pick than Anthony Richardson because he can't stay healthy. So again, in the NFL, the best ability is availability in my eyes. Texans, Bears, Falcons are all better than us. I would say I think the Falcons is a toss-up still. I mean, I know we lost to them at the beginning of the season, but we were looking to win that game until turnovers happened and a Miles Sanders fumble shifted the momentum. We can win if we limit our turnovers. Yes, we can, because the Falcons did it against us. They scored on all 3 turnovers. The Detroit did it against us, right? We can't win on IR, Robstar. What does that mean? You talking about injuries? Unless second or third, we keep Louisville. Yeah, we lost 2 division games. I know. Oh, it's definitely a possibility. I don't have that in my head that it's not a possibility. I have not thought that is not could not come to fruition. I definitely have. Second or first. Yeah, well, injuries do lack the performance of the team for sure. I mean, just dude, if we get one win, I'm gonna go to Vegas and I'm gonna go buy. If we get one win this season, I'll I'm gonna go to Vegas and I'm gonna go buy me a table at one of the clubs and I'm gonna get absolutely obliterated. Jadarius, it would be pretty embarrassing. It would be pretty embarrassing. No, you know what's funny about this whole 0-17 thing? There was like a there was a Twitter thing. I think it was after the first 3 games that we lost. Maybe it was after week 4 what we lost. But people were going on Twitter saying, "Oh, well, Frank Wright's first season, they lost. They went 0-6, and then they came back and they went 10-7 or 10-6, whatever." I'm like, that only happens and once in a blue moon. Like Bryce over a Rich now. I do too. Again, best abilities, availability in my mind. Our whole team is banged up and we can't seem to put the pieces together. I will say our offensive line did step up in this last game for the injuries that we do have. Throckmorton and Mays played very well, I thought. I thought that they, at least from that part of the standpoint, they actually played pretty well. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Brock Bowers is the next. I'm telling you, everybody thought Kincaid was so good. I was like, dude, have y'all not seen Brock Bowers over at Georgia? That guy's a stud. That guy is the next Gronkowski. That guy might be the next Gronkowski. Not kidding you. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's good. There is some questions about him that I do have, but he's definitely the best wide receiver right now. But there is some question marks that I do have. I also like Jerry Rice's son. Jerry Rice's son over at USC looks solid too. But I mean, he also has Caleb Williams throwing him the ball. And that Thompson kid from Oklahoma looks good. The guy from Texas, I can't remember his name. He looks good. North Carolina's got that Walker kid who looks solid. Of course, my favorite right now, guys, though, wide receiver wise, like if I'm going to draft one, maybe because I'm a little biased, but Xavier Legette from University of South Carolina looks like a stud. And he's fast as shit. And for his size, he's fast as shit, dude. He runs like a freaking 4. I think me and my buddy looked it up. He runs like a 4.3 and he's like 6'4", 230 pounds. He's a freak. Go look at Xavier Legette. He's nasty. All in one, yeah. You can use him like that. I want Xavier Legette if we got a wide receiver, guys. I'm not kidding you, man. He is nasty. I think he's the real deal. Sorry. Yeah, well, 6'3", 230. He's 6'3", 227, and runs a 4.3 40. Telling you, man, he's nasty. He leads the NCAA right now in yards and I think receptions and touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not touchdowns, but maybe yards and receptions. Xavier Legette. Go look him up. He's 6'3", 230, runs a 4.3. He's a stud. He might not be I don't think he might not be a first round pick though. So we could possibly look at him in the second round. If I'm the Bears, I'm taking Caleb or May and Bowers. I think New England's is tanking. I think New England might be on the verge of tanking. I think the Cardinals are also in their tanking mode. The Giants, they're going to be another team that's probably going to have a high first round pick because of Daniel Jones' neck injury. So we'll see. We will see. Guys, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you join the Discord, guys. The Discord is for you to communicate with me. It also updates you. See, it also updates you with everything. We got people chatting in here. Also, the giveaway, don't forget about it. We're doing it this Friday, guys. All you have to do is do what these guys are doing. You join the Discord. You take a screenshot that you're subscribed to the channel. You post it in the giveaway chat here, and then your name gets added to the board. So if you want to get into the jersey giveaway, that's how you do it. Jadarius, yeah, Matt Chatter. I think Belichick's on his way out. Let me check. Let me see something. All right, so here we go. Here's the reason why, to Jadarius' question. Troy Franklin from Ohio, yeah, he's a stud. Oh, that and another wide receiver that's really good both. There's actually two. Both of Florida State's wide receivers would be big time players, I think. All right, so let me present this to you guys. I wanted to share this with you. So these are your top edge rushers. All right, top pass rushers, okay? Top pass rushers, right? Your top edge pass rushers, you got Brian Burns at number 7. But look at who is number 5. Texans, Will Anderson. Trey Hendrickson. After last night, how the hell is but look at this. Nick Bosa's down here at 13th. How the hell is what's his name not on here? Or is he on this list? How is Max Crosby not on this list after last night? I'm surprised by that. All right, defensive tackles. None of our guys are on there. Shows you that. Offensive tackles. Let's see if we got any on there. None of them. Inside offensive line. None of them. Edge run stoppers. Nobody. Now, this is crazy. Derek Brown is the top defensive tackle run stopping win rate rankings. Out of 102 plays, he's had 50 wins. Damn. But nothing for our offensive line. None of these guys are even top 10. And this is no particular order for here. So it's hard out in these streets, man, being a Panthers fan. I think the Raiders would give us first for Burns. They could. Could you imagine them having Max Crosby and Brian Burns though? Do you know how freakishly nasty that would be? That defense would be a wrecking ball. Yeah, I mean, we could do that with KC, but it would be a late first round, and that would not really. I mean, it would help, but Raiders drafted Trey Wilson at 7. Already have Max Crosby. He's better than Burns. They aren't training. Well, that's true too, Anthony. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I know. Which means he has no help because Shy Tuttle, Deshaun Williams, they haven't done anything. That just shows the lack of talent that we have brought in to this organization. Same thing with the wide receivers. Thielen, perfect example, doing everything he can, but not getting any help from anybody else. He has. He stepped up. And I was telling everybody on Twitter, I said, all you fools that thought this guy was not good, that very good. And I'm like, what has made y'all think that he's not that good after the performance he put on at the end of the year last year? When he finished the year with almost, I think it was almost 700 yards. And Deontay Foreman had like 900. Or maybe it was Deontay Foreman had 7 and he had like 5, something like that. It was something around those numbers, but still, just because he was having issues with pass catching, but he doesn't seem to be having any issues running the ball down the field or pass catching. So, and he's outperformed a guy who's been a Pro Bowler twice in his career. But again, he came from also a offensive line that was best in the NFL. I called people out on that. He is terrible against the run. He missed. If we watch the breakdown of the defense and on the run plays that they had, Brian Burns missed some plays, man. He missed some tackles. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hop off of here. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the live. You know, those 4 things right across, right over here, right or over here, no, over there, over here, over here, right over there. Those 4 things. You do all that. All right. Then also join the Discord over there. Okay. Join the Discord. The link tree is down below. It has all of my social media. And then go check out betusa.com. The link is down below in the link tree as well. Make sure you use promo code Pantherology. I do have Manscaped on the way. I will have a promo code and a promotion from them here soon. I am waiting to receive my stuff, finish out the contract, and then we'll have something good to go to start promoting Manscaped on the channel as well. But again, if you want to get in the jersey giveaway, you got to join the Discord. Screenshot that you are a subscriber to the channel and put it in the hashtag giveaway channel in there if you want to get involved. We will be doing the jersey giveaway this Friday, okay, during the show, so don't miss out, okay? Also, the biggest thing you can do too is always just pound that like button. You can also become a member if you would like to become a member. It just helps support the channel even further. Also, go again. Make sure you click that post notifications bell because that's the biggest thing you can do. Because it will always notify you when I'm live. All right, or whenever I post a video. I might start doing some more instead of doing I know y'all like the live streams, but I might start doing some editing videos too as well. But I talk about so much on the live stream, it's like, what should I talk about now? So we talk about so much during the live stream, but it's all good. I like doing the live streams better. So, but I'll continue doing some shorts as well. So I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the live, join the Discord. Don't forget about the giveaway. Make sure you take a screenshot if you subscribe, post it in the hashtag giveaway in the Discord. Check out the link tree down below, all of my social media and BetUSA. Promo code Pantherology. Sign up for free today. You get 125% bonus on your first bet. So they're going to match up to 125%. So you put $100 in, they're going to give you 125%. Okay. So appreciate everyone joining. As always, keep pounding. Peace.